What's up guys, welcome back to Prism Customs. Today we're going to be doing our very first build video on the channel. We've got a $900 setup here that we are going to be building for our client, and it's going to look really nice. So guys, like I mentioned, $900 budget. This is just one of the higher end gaming PCs that we have here at Prism Customs, but we cater to your needs. And with our client here, he wanted something that he could game with, he could edit with, and he could also just do general things like homework and other stuff like that because he's a student with. And we got him everything that we needed here. We're gonna dive into the parts. So we're gonna start here with our SSD. This is a 1 terabyte SSD from Silicon Power. And one of the things we do here at Prism Customs is we work within the needs of our clients. Some of them need the fastest SSD, they need to get the storage out just like that. But some of them, they need to just have quick enough storage to boot up games as fast as possible and hold stuff in the long run. And SATA SSDs do that. Of course, for some people, the M.2 SSD format is gonna be much better. But for what we're doing here today, this is gonna be totally free. So next thing we're gonna look at is we're gonna look at our brains of the operation. This is the CPU. We have a RYZEN 7700X with Radeon graphics built inside. This is a 8-core, 16-thread processor with 5.4 gigahertz boost clock with a 4.5 gigahertz base clock. This is a great middle ground entry position for streaming / gaming setup that we got right here. This will handle anything you throw at it with its 8 cores, and trust me, you won't find this value anywhere else on the market. AMD CPUs are really on the come up right now. Intel is still a good option for a lot of stuff, but we here at Prism Customs, we see the AMD vision, and a lot of our builds are based off of this. Of course, if you want an Intel CPU, we're more than happy to give that to you, but we chose this one for this setup just because of how well it worked. So right next, we're gonna look at our RAM here. This is the G.Skill F5 6000 series. This is a dual 16 gigabyte pack running at 6,000 megahertz. And honestly, another bang for buck thing here. Of course, the question begs, why not go for a 32 gig setup?
Hey guys, it's Froz, the editor here. I just want to let you guys know at this moment that Daniel had actually messed up, and the kit he bought was actually not a 16 gigabyte kit, it was a 32 gigabyte kit of DDR5. And obviously, it's a lot better to have more storage, but 32 gigabytes is the maximum amount of storage you'll need, especially for a calm build like this. So I just want to let you guys know that that's actually a 32 gigabyte kit and not a 16 gigabyte kit. And obviously, the more the better. More space will give you more, you know, speeds and faster uploads and faster reaction times for your PC.
Now we're going to take a look at our motherboard. This is going to be the communications operations that we got here. We got the Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX2 V2 motherboard here. This is a AM5 socket board that supports all the way up to DDR5 memory. Well, it only supports DDR5 memory. It supports DDR5 memory, Q flash. It supports Wi-Fi 6. It has Wi-Fi on board and a 2.5 Ethernet. And this supports everything that we need to do and more. It allows for upgrades in the future. This has 2 slots for your graphics card if you want to add another one down the line. Although I recommend upgrading your graphics card if you ever come to that. But this is a great deal that we got here because we got it with our bundle. Unfortunately not sponsored, but we have a bundle with Micro Center where we got our CPU, RAM, and motherboard together in the bundle, and everything worked out perfectly. We were able to find the price we need for our client, and that's part of the reason why we do what we do. We find the deals out there, and we pass those savings on to you here at Prism Customs. Next up, we're gonna look at our cooler, and I know what you guys are saying. This is an air cooler right here. This is not the most powerful thing on the market, and we know that, but our client had a budget, we made it happen. This right here is a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Halo Black series. It has a big radiator on it that will be perfect for, this is compatible with both Intel and AM5 socket boards. So this is gonna work perfectly with what we're doing here. Obviously, if it was doing anything hyper intensive, I would recommend getting an AIO or a liquid cooler. But for what we're doing here today and with a budget in mind, this is perfect. Obviously, I don't recommend this for everybody because different types of PCs need different types of cooling needs. But for what we're doing today, this is gonna be perfectly fine. Next thing we're looking at is our Ayers Gaming. This is a 700 watt semi-modular power supply with an 80 plus bronze rating. And the reason we picked this one up is for the price to quantity ratio. This rating right here, the 80 plus bronze, is really what you want to be looking at. Anything above this is what you want to be at for your power supply because you do not want to cheap out on these things. But with that being said, here at Prism Customs, we find value in everything, and there's a lot of value in this. There are not a lot of semi-modular power supplies that we have on the market that are at this price point. At 700 watts, well, this is definitely going to be more than enough for what he's currently doing, and it's going to allow for him to do upgrades in the future without having to buy another power supply later on. Next thing we're looking at here is our case here. We picked this up also from Micro Center because that is where the deals are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Inland X1 tempered glass case that we got here. It has a mesh paneling on the front, which you can see right here, which allows for airflow to go directly into the case and come directly out from the top. I know what you guys are thinking. The coolest looking PCs often have a glass panel on the front and on the sides. It's actually really not what you want for performance because it does not allow air to go in the way that it needs to. But with something like this, you're gonna have the mesh in the front, which allows the airs to go through the case through the front and exhaust out through the back, creating a circular flow, dispersing heat evenly and fine. And when you've got a cooler like this, temperature moderation is something that is very important. It does come with 4 RGB fans that are adjustable based off your motherboard. They're RGB IC, I believe, as well. And it has a tempered glass on both the front and the back. It uses the thumbtack screw, so you'll be able to access it without any sort of problem, just using your hand, no tools necessary. But this is one of the best bang for buck cases that I recommend for anybody going into any setup. Of course, any good PC setup needs a perfect graphics card, and this is what we got right here. This is the MSI Victus 2 Black GeForce RTX 4060 graphics card, overclock edition. This has 8 gigs of total VRAM, and it has a 128-bit output with a both DisplayPort and HDMI. And I know what you're thinking, this seems really small for what we're doing, and honestly, you're kind of right. Normally, I would recommend going for a 360 radiator for your GPU because it allows for better output and for often more overclocking abilities. But with the MSI, I really use this brand a lot for my own personal things as well because they do a really good job of covering all the basics that we need. And of course, with RTX 4060, you get ray tracing and everything else that you need from NVIDIA. And with the CPU, yes, I know NVIDIA and AMD aren't exactly the best of friends, but they work well together in this setup, and we're going to prove that here today. All right, so we started our build process. We got our CPU and our RAM in. Come take a look at you guys right over here. Yes, sir. Fit in perfectly, and we got our RAM in perfectly. Now, it is time to put the fan in. All right, so we got our radiator prepped. It's time to put the thermal paste on. All right, come on, guys. For the thermal pattern, it does not matter no matter what people tell you. So we here at Prism Customs, bring it closer, a little smiley face. Let me get that boy there. Can I get that boy right there? And give him a little smile. Alright guys, we got the CPU on, the RAM on, the fan on, got everything plugged up and ready to go. We're ready to put this to the side and start working on this case right here. Alright, so we just put the power supply into our case. Alright guys, we got the motherboard finally installed. I had to finish with the screws a little bit, but we got it. Come take a look at what we got here. This is what we're looking at right now, very raw. Not done at all. Of course, we still got to do our cable management. That's going to get done. All right, this is one of my favorite parts of the whole build. It's time to put the GPU in this thing. All right, guys, we got everything put in here. The fan, CPU, GPU, everything is in and ready to go. It's time to wire it up now. Alright guys, we got the PC on for the most part. We got to take a look at this fan here. Not sure why that LED's not popping up on that one. Figure that out. In the meantime though, we're going to cable management and then we're going to boot to BIOS to make sure everything is working totally fine. So guys, after a lot of trial and error, working things out, trying to figure out the system, finally got it up and running. Come take a look at the PC real quick. As you can see, we got all our fans up and running, absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And then of course we got our BIOS open with Gigabyte. We need to install a fresh copy of Windows 11. We're gonna go ahead and do that and we'll show you there at the grand reveal. So my boy, you got his PC up and running. What you think?
What's up? Yo, honestly, it's an amazing build. It's very clean, very organized. 10 out of 10 communication. If you need your computer stuff done, come to Daniel, please. This was an amazing build.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this build. We had a budget and we made it happen, and we got the best price to performance ratio, and of course we made it look beautiful as always. That is what we do here at Prism Customs. Please go ahead and DM us with the links down in the description, and we will see you guys in the next video.